All right, all right, all right, all right. Today we are very glad and happy to have one of our biggest female artists in the country on the podcast. We have Azawi
Yeah. What's up?
with a good music. Thank you for coming to the podcast. Thank you for honoring my invitation. I'm really happy. Yes.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here too. I think this is my first time, and yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Tell me about your life before music. Let's start there. Before anything, what were you doing? What you call a chi? What you for chi? What were you did you ever think you're gonna be a superstar? But what was your life like?
I would say I was living a normal life.
Mhm.
I was just Zawedde Priscilla, who was a big fan of music. I was in band doing, band nights with a couple of, my friends. The band was called Zabuga, and then it changed like in time. And also, but to take you back a little bit, when I was still a young kid, I got a chance to come to Nsyere
Yeah.
Center. By that time, that team used to have like weekly performances, traditional performances, Nsyere troupe, and we used to come with my brothers, my mother, because my mother had like she had like a friend that was part of Nsyere.
Mhm.
They could invite us. And I remember my first time to go and see such a performance. I was inspired. There was this girl who was carrying like pots and dancing and singing at the same time. And that day, I told my mother that I also want to be part of such a team. I was inspired. I wanted to do what they were doing. Like, I loved it. It looked fun. It looked really, really, amazing and special. And after some time, my mother, talked to the friend that, was part of Ndere. And then, unfortunately, that time, some of the members of Ndere were breaking away to form another team,
Yeah.
which is now called Chika Dance Troupe. That is Kadu and some other guys. So that is where my mother's friend also, went. So they also like, took me to that new crew. And I went there. I was in my primary five. That
Oh.
is Uganda Road Primary School.
Yeah.
Then we changed because the team had located in Mokono Seta. So we went there, I changed the school. I started, learning how to dance folk music, traditional instruments, dances from different parts of, Uganda, Chitaguro, Lunyege, Baksimba, Nankasa. I learned a lot of things, and I was there for like a few years. And then when I was going for my secondary, I left.
Mhm.
And then I made a few friends while I was there, and some of the friends, when they had like that I had left, we linked up outside, and one of them called Chiza Fred
Yeah.
called me, and he was like, "I know you are very very talented, girl. So can you? Is there a way we can work together so that you help me? Because at the time he was teaching at an NGO, teaching MDD. He was like, can you help me teach the kids at the NGO your dances, the dances that you learned and all that stuff, and I'll help you get into school. Because for me, by that time, my family wasn't like financially stable to actually cater for my education as
Yeah.
much as I wanted. So this was also another way, to be able to access education. So I was like, yeah, that is a much, a good deal. So we linked up with Kiza Fred, and I remember that time he was also teaching music in schools as a nyimba z'amasomero zabayimbanga abana. So he was doing that as well, and he took me to the school. And I remember one time he told me, Zawid, I know you're just a dancer, but can you try to also, be part of the school choir? You never know. If you don't like it, it's okay. You can never come back, but
Yeah.
try it.
Try it.
So I went there, and surprisingly, I loved it. It was more like a refreshment from, the crazy, studies that we had through the day. And it was fun. Like, he was a very, very funny guy. So ever since the day, I kept on going for, the school choir. And I remember when he used to write, he told me, because I used to speak a lot of English. I don't understand. Maybe because I had like I went to a very proper nursery school, YMCA.
Yeah.
So I knew like I had like a
I didn't even know YMCA had a nursery school.
yeah at that time
Yeah.
at the time they had one and they were really good.
Yeah, because me, I went to that.
Yeah. So he started telling me that yes, because for him you could write in the local language, Uganda, and then he told me, why don't you help me out and translate this in English? So I started doing that with him every time he wrote, whenever we went to the studio, and I like got passion for writing music, for singing, and I remember I started going to the studio for my private, sessions.
Yeah.
So that I think that time with him was also like another way to discover myself, that I could actually do music, that I could write. And I remember I started going to the studio. I made a couple of songs, and then that's when the idea of writing music for artists comes in. And I remember reaching out to different artists via Facebook, because it was the platform that everyone was
just randomly you're like, yo, can I write your song?
Yeah. And a few of them responded. I remember Caro Nan's manager responded, and when we linked up, I played them the demo and they loved it. And they took it and they paid me like 500,
Yeah.
that was
But it was okay, right?
Yeah, that was okay. So we kept on, and I also linked up with Renix. Of course, I met them via Facebook, and then he's a very, very legendary producer here in Uganda. Like, he's the guy that produced Kasepichi, most of Bebe Cool's big songs.
Yeah.
So he gave me also a chance to know access to the studio, and I went there. I met like so many people, and then I started, actually doing my own music. I started gaining that passion for it to actually even go mainstream.
Yeah.
But it's not easy to just come into this industry if you don't have someone that really believes in you and is willing to support you. So that was also all in vain. But then after some time, going back to school and finishing my senior 4, I remember.
So in this case, the art is like an inspiration for why you're doing the school.
Yeah, exactly. And most of the times, the schools that I went to that time, they were giving us like MDD bursaries. So what this guy Fred used to do is like, you know what, I have kids that are really so good in music, MDD. So if he could, these are negotiations going between him and the school administration.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have kids that
are talented.
If you give them like an MDD bursary,
value to the
there will be a value of school,
Yeah,
because these were schools that were really, really, really strong when it came to MDD co-curriculums. They could be part of Tandaya, Uganda, stuff like this, like that. So I went to so many schools. I went to St. Janan. That is with my friend. He's the one who's taking me to all the schools. Then from there, I went to London College in Asana. And then I came back. I remember after that, I think to London College, I was in my senior 3.
Yeah.
So when I finished that class, I came back home, and unfortunately, my father passed away. And also Fred.
Sorry about your father.
Yeah, and also Fred had like a little issue, so he wasn't like doing so well. So he was like, you know what, you need to go back home a little bit, and I sort myself out. When I have everything in control back again, I'm gonna call you. So I went back home, and then I remember my sister was like, you know what, since your father has passed away, and also Fred is also trying to figure out life, I'm gonna help you out so that you are able to sit your senior 4. So she paid for my senior 4, and I finished it. So now, coming to senior 5 and senior 6, that entire senior 5, I never went to school because there was no money, and also my sister was just trying to help out. She was also like figuring things out. So the good thing is, because we were in touch with Fred, and he called me this time around. He's like, hey, I have like what would I call it? I have like a deal for you, but it's gonna like depend on how you're gonna be able to manage your education and doing it. This deal meant going to China to perform and then come back. This contract was running for 3 months. Remember, I had not like started my senior 5, so he's giving me all this opportunity in my senior 6 year.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how am I gonna be able to do this when I've not even started my HEC properly. How am I gonna get through this? And I remember I had that conversation with my mother, and she was like, you know what? I trust you. You are a good.
Pillow.
You are a smart kid. If you think you can do this, then you can go. This contract was running from June to August.
Yeah.
So I had to go, and I accepted. That is the fact. I went to China, and I did the contract. They were paying us $400, and this money came with a lot of fringe benefits. You're not paying for food, for transport, shelter. Everything was catered by the team that was bringing us that side. So this money was more like a support for me to actually be able to come back and pay my school fees.
Yeah.
And so I went and we did that contract. I made a lot of friends there. And
In China,
yeah, in China. So when we came back, I remember I was at Kasubi Secondary School. Everyone. Kasubi, yeah. It is a very, very popular school.
Yeah.
So he's a guy who never cared. For as long as you pay him his money, he will be like, fine, you can do whatever I don't care if you're not in class every day, for as long as you
pay the school fees.
Pay your school fees. So I came back, I paid the school fees. I sat for my final senior 6 exams, and I got 13 points, thank to God. And as we were in that vacation of senior 6, another Chinese deal came in, and then I also went. I made some good money, and then the money is what I used to actually go for my university first year. I actually came when they had already studied like halfway, but I had like sisters and friends here who are helping me like with the coursework and helping me catch up when I come back.
Yeah. In this case, why did you feel the need to finish school? Was it because mommy wanted you to finish school, or you are that person that finishes the things you start?
Honestly, I'm gonna be straight.
Yeah.
I never wanted to study.
Me too.
But it is something that I knew that I needed.
Sure.
I was so because I knew I was so I wasn't that privileged. So at least it's one thing that I had to have by my side in case anything happens.
It's your fallback plan.
It's my fallback plan.
Yeah.
So I had to and I don't know, maybe I had like a spirit on me that told me that, yo, girl, please go to school, please study, please do this. And I'm thankful that I kept that discipline and I was able to finish school. So yeah, we are in secondary, and I remember I'm telling you that when I went to China, I made like really, really good friends who, when they came back, like.
How old are you at the time?
I think at the time I was like that is.
You're S2, right?
No, coming back in seniors, finishing senior 6.
Yeah.
I think I was like 19 or 18, something like that. So we would, while we were in China, like these are friends that that I made, and when they came back, they made like a band, like bands that do covers and perform in band, in nights, bars, whatever. So when they came back, they were like, oh, we had like before we even went to China, that you were singing, you're writing music. So if you're fine with the idea of you coming and singing and performing in our band, it would be perfect. And I'm like, yeah, cool, because like for me, music, for some reason, music always followed me. Like even when I tried like to run away from it, someone somewhere connected me with music again. So yeah, I'm back. I'm at the university, and then I'm part of the band. So what used to happen, because my mother had like when father died, the little money she collected, she used it to call a small restaurant, small retail restaurant, and I'm the one who used to help out
serving and all.
Yeah, so as I could serve the food during the day and wash the dishes after all the time, and then in the evening I went to school to study at Makerere, and then after Makerere I went to the band night. That was my routine for like 2 years or 3 years or something, until when I actually finished Makerere.
Yeah.
That was like my thing. Those are like 3 years or something.
What did you decide to do at Makerere?
I did Bachelor of Commerce, and I specialized in accounting. And yeah.
So you're the money person. You understand your money.
It was honestly, it was a very complicated course. Though for those who know,
they know.
Bachelor of Commerce is not something to mess around with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I graduated, and Yeah. So the thing is, when we were performing in band, like for some reason, the guys who were managing it linked up with Eddie Kenzo, and he agreed to actually let us back him on his 2016 concert at Africana. So when we went in the rehearsals, I met Eddie Kenzo, and I remember one time when we were like rehearsing, he was like, after this rehearsal, can you guys go in the studio and back some of my music? Like, I can tell you guys are good at what you're doing. So we went to the studio, but the way he's this kind of guy who doesn't want you to back a song, like he wants you to actually bring something different, like not just do what he has already done. And he called it juggling. Can you like juggle a few things? And so when I went to the studio, like I created like a few things, and he was like, "Are you a writer?" And I'm like, "Yes, I write music. I actually even have a few demos with me. If you don't mind, I can play them for you." And I remember there was this song that I had wrote. It was called Fishing.
Yeah.
And then I played it to him, and he was really, really, really so impressed. I remember he bought the song right there and then, because I remember that time he was also like into signing new artists and creating a record label. I don't know what happened after that, but he bought the music. And I met his manager, Beda, and he also introduced me to a couple of artists, Lydia Jasmine, Nina Rose. He introduced me to Hussein. By that time, he was his home producer, studio producer. And he was like, this girl is very talented. I feel like you guys should link up. Besides all this, concert stuff, you should link up on a private, basis and make music. And that is how I get to know Hussein. So we made a few songs together. That we sold a few songs together, and then like at some point there's when you feel like you need to concentrate on your books. So I told him, bro, I'm gonna like be away for some time and finish
This.
and finish my school. Then we shall link up later. So I remember I was away, and then after that period, I'm done with my final exams. That is 2019. He calls me and he's like, "Hey, yes, I left Big Talent. I created something of my own. So if you don't mind, you can pass by and we make music again. Like I feel like we connected really so well. So I will be waiting for you." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a good time. I'm done with my exam, so I'm gonna pass by." So I went. I found him when he had created that Quinamino beat. Yeah. So I tell him, "Oh yeah, this really sounds so good." So he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna lock you in the studio. I know by the time I come back, you're gonna have something amazing." So when he came back, oh my God, it took me like 40 minutes or 45 minutes, and I was done with that song. Like, and
That's the song.
that's the song. And I told him, "Bro, who are we gonna sell this art? Who are we gonna give the song to?" I feel like if we can get Winning Wajo on it would be perfect, because I feel like she can execute it so perfectly. So he's like, "Okay, you can reach out to Julius Cheze." I'm like, "Bro, I've tried
Right.
so many times to reach out to Julius, so many times, but all in vain. I failed. But for you, you have a name on yourself. I think they'll give you like some attention right away." So, and it's what happened when he reached out. Julius was so
About it.
yeah. So he was impressed by the song, and I remember he told me that, "Yo, Julius asked me for your contact, because he's not he really doesn't believe that you're the person that actually wrote the song and sang it at the same time. He needs a little bit of more proof." So I remember Julius reaching out and like, "Yo, I like your song. Like, I feel like you're really a good writer. I think you're the right person that we should run to whenever we need music for our artists. So if you're down for it, we can sit and have like a big
Negotiation on it, big
negotiation, maybe
conversation.
put you on a retainer or something."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Okay," and he's like, "Okay, you can actually even send me more demos if you have some." But I had like a couple of them, but they were not like Swang's Avenue, like quality or type. Yeah. So I had to go back to studio, and we created Repeat It, we created Loaf It, and of course I had it on a few of them that I had created before.
Previously.
Yeah.
All right.
Songs like Linear Mirror, Crazy Lover.
Yeah.
Crazy Lover made it with remix within the time when we were, working together. and then Binyumira as well. That is with his brother Twisky by
Yeah.
the time when we were together. So I sent him like 5 tracks. So he was like, you know what, we're gonna meet on Monday in the evening at 3, and we see. So in the afternoon at 3. So I went there. I remember I told Julius, you know, I told Kasey, yo, I'm gonna meet Julius Cheze. Like, what are we gonna charge like per song? It's like, don't go below $1 million. So I'm going to their offices thinking that I might collect at least like 4M that day. So we went there, and I remember Benon coming into the studio, and they were asking like so many personal questions. How old are you? Are you done with school? And remember, this is happening end of 2019. I was done with my exams. I was just waiting to graduate in 2020. But before I take you a little bit back, my plan was, if I make that money, I'm going to use it and fly out of, the country, because I knew
You wanted to work elsewhere.
Yeah, I knew there was, I knew I could find something here, but not that
pennies, right? Something.
Yeah, not that instant.
Background.
Yeah.
Something big to change life or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I want, my plan was, I give Kasem his 2M, and the 2M, I'm going to go and talk to Fred, and they give me like a much, much longer contract, because they were there. But for me, we took like the short one because it's what could accommodate my schedule with school and stuff like that. But there were contracts that could go for like 2 years, a year. So my plan was just to use this money to sort a few things out and go and be in China. I don't know for how long. So we are in the office, and Julius is asking personal questions. Are you married? Do you stay with your parents? Blah, 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 blah. And in my mind, I'm like, guys, can you just
give me my money?
Just pay me my money and then leave. But all that happening, Kusem had initially told me that he had, like, Swang Avenue were looking into signing new artists. So I shouldn't be surprised if they give me like a contract. Yeah, a deal. And, as, someone can say something.
Quinamino was out before you got the deal, right?
No. All that music was not out. This is all happening in the background before that music is officially out for people to listen to it.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I told Kusem, like sitting. Okay, it is something that I want.
Yeah, you'd consider it naenga. Wow, I hear you.
Yeah, I never saw it happen like just like that. Like no way. Like come on, no way. So I just blushed it off and like you're just playing. So and we're having all this conversation in their office, and finally Julius was like, "Why don't you sing?" I'm like, I really want to. I've always wanted to, but I don't have what it takes, the resources, the capital, the human labor, like everyone needed to actually put music out there and people receive it and appreciate it. And doing it like halfway
was not your thing.
No, like it could end up demotivating you, because I had I've seen so many artists who had tried to start small and start in their own way, but like they were struggling, and it could demotivate them. They could see them stressed and depressed, or feel like, maybe the world doesn't just want to let them break out and be superstars. And I didn't want to be that artist. I didn't want nalisagala tuka mbeera ntandika okulima olwokuba endongo eganye like mbeera awo nga nekubagiza. I didn't want that for myself. So
that fear was there, like if it doesn't really work out.
Yeah, and I think, and also one of the reasons is why, because abayimbi benabeerangamu nga like you could sit down with them and you're like, what is your plan B in case your thing of becoming an artist doesn't work out? And everyone was so deluded, like no, it has to. There's no way. I have no plan B. Like it has to work out. And you could see someone, stuck there in that bubble for over 5-10 years, not, doing something for themselves, just waiting one day to have a hit song and break out. And I didn't want to get into that delusional, bracket. For me, I always wanted something that, moved me forward. So, they told me, why don't you? And I gave him my reasons. And then he was like, you know what? How about we work together, Machomita signing? And I think I froze for like 5 to 10 seconds in there, and I'm like, and when I spoke again, I was like, please don't get me excited, and they all laughed at me. Like, why would, and they were like, why would like a respectable company like Swang's Avenue joke with you, joke around? Like, we don't joke around. If we tell you we want to do something, that means we're gonna do it. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry if I say that, but like I've been in so many situations where someone has told me that we're gonna work together, and then it never happens.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to make sure that that same
Thing,
doesn't happen again. So they're like, okay, but if you're not into it, there's money in the envelope here. You can either take the contract, you can either take out or take the money. I left the money on the table. Like, it was in an envelope. And I remember they were like, go back home and think about it and tell us what you think. But honestly, if they had brought that contract right then,
you're signed.
I would have signed it without even reading into it. And I know this.
You're already convinced that this place is good. You're already to sell the music. The behind the scenes are already making sense for you.
Yeah. Of course, these are the mistakes we do that when we were desperate. But sometimes you just need something that can jumpstart you, and you will figure things out later. With time.
So I had Keiko on the podcast, and that is one of the things she talked about when she got the Sony deal. She was like, for me, I was ready. Because of course it didn't work out that well, right? In the future. But she was like, I signed. I was already frustrated here, so I did sign. And luckily it didn't really work out. She gave all the reasons, but that can also happen. So didn't you think about that? That, what happens even if I sign and maybe it doesn't work out like it has now?
For me, I never thought of that, because do you know why? Because first of all, I never saw it coming. So like, for me, it wasn't like, if it doesn't work out. Okay, it is different. If I had like tested fame and stardom before, I would like have to consider that.
True.
But I was so virgin at everything. So for me, it was like, even releasing Quinamino, I didn't expect people to actually receive it and be so positive about it like the way they did. So for me, it was more like a try and fail thing, or let's try like and see what comes out of it. And good thing I went back, I told Kusem about everything. I'm like, bro, you spoke this entire thing into existence. It is actually happening. He was very, very happy. He was very, very happy. And I remember that alone motivated us to actually make more music.
I
remember within the time we created slow dancing, we wrote Kuchido, we wrote we wrote Party Mode, and then I had my other brother Smart Keys, where we met like Gimme. I met with
Fik.
we made with Bomba. We made that song, Maje with Fiki. So this was all music in the background before even Quinamino came out. You understand what I'm trying to?
You already had your gold.
Yeah, like the moment I knew that we were gonna jump into the moment I knew that things were gonna get serious.
Now you became serious.
Yeah, I knew like now I need to have a
bank. Work.
Yeah, I need to have a bank of music. And we released that EP. We first released Quinamino like end of 2019. That is like in December or something. And that song blew out. Like, I remember at that time, that is the same time Nwaje also released Seja Kubeyo. And those two songs were, making waves across the country. And then as we entered 2020, I released the entire EP, which had Repeat It, Low Feet, Crazy Lover, Binyamira, and the music was everywhere. And then the lockdown came in. And that, for me, that part, like, it was more like a reality check. Like, now, okay, why does this stuff have to happen when I'm actually, on a rise? Like, God, what are you trying to speak to me? What are you trying to say? And I felt so like depressed within that time, because I had a lot of music, because I had good music, everyone loved it, but I could not do anything. important with it. Okay, of course, people could listen to it online on the TV, but I needed to make that money because we had more big plans. We were talking about releasing an album, and we needed all this money to actually fuel it into the album that we were like planning to release after the EP. But now we're stuck here for over like 2 years. 2 years. But the good thing about actually this is why I got to actually even to appreciate having managements more and more powerful management. Because if I was not with a powerful management, maybe I would have fallen off as an artist. But they supported me. Like, I took Ugandans through the lockdown. My music was carrying them throughout the lockdown.
No cap.
Yeah, to be honest. And they were supporting me financially. There was no time where I never had food.
Mhm.
I had food. I had whatever I needed. I was also supporting my a few of my family friends. Like, they were there. Like, they held me through it all when we were not even making
Any shilling.
any shilling. So
it's family. It's just not.
yeah, it was family. And I remember Julius could because I was staying in some of the money I made I rented in Kauku Bunga, and Julius stays in is it Kalungu Bunga the side, so he could walk. Remember, you could not drive, but wait, so he could walk just to come and check on me to see if I am still mentally okay, because it was really a very challenging time.
Yeah.
So he gave me hope. He's like, you know what? You need to understand that you're just getting started. Not even this lockdown is going to stop what is about to happen. We have an album, and trust me, this album is going to take you to the next level. Just keep on making the music. And I remember within lockdown, we moved. We could walk. I remember this the music we made with Bomba. We moved to the studio. We walked and we made that music. And finally, I remember when the EP was, phasing out. Now we're concentrating on the album. And my first song off the album was My Year. I released that song, and after releasing it, Mandem put us through another lockdown of another.
When you promised us that,
Yeah.
we're already excited.
Ugandans
Man,
came
that was a
from
jam.
and Ugandans came for my head. Why are you lying to us?
I know.
Like, these are trolls. I never knew that I could laugh at my own trolls. Like, I'm like, okay, this is getting out of hand. Like, they were coming from every direction. You lied to us. How could you promise us that the year is gonna be better, and yet we're just heading into another lockdown?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say? Like, but by the end of that year, like, everyone saw that my manifestation was actually coming to
life.
To materialize.
A lot of weddings started rising up, and like it was that.
Yeah.
Like how people grow up and be like, okay, my marriage is like my significance of making it.
Yeah.
And that was the song.
Yeah.
So we're into like the video production and what we cover weddings. So we're covering weddings, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
My year was the thing.
Yeah. So and with it, that same year, I got to be part of the YouTube Black Voices class of 2020, 2021, 2022. Yes. And I got to the New York Times Square. I was all over the place. And then I also got the Guinness deal endorsement. Good one, not just, mediocre. Yeah, not just mediocre. A good one. Like, good things were just happening, and the album was making major waves. We were releasing the Magic took over, and it has been like a journey to be honest.
Yeah. Now let's try and explore your creative process, right? The writing. How is it like? Tell me about your process, really. How do you come up with a project? How do you finish it? Are you this person that just jumps out of it and maybe all these other people help you with it?
Yeah.
Tell me, and maybe the message, is it intentional? Or is it just a vibe? Because your music just is a blend of everything, right? So tell me about your process, really.
For me, I don't like coming to the studio when I know what I'm gonna do.
Oh, so you're like a Leoin. Now you're my favorite person again. Yeah.
Because when you come, when your mind is like centered onto something, you may end up like, boxing yourself and not thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
But when you come, when you're like, open to anything that can, come in your mind, like, I feel like you can unlock or unlock your mind to so many different things that you could create. So like I'm not the type that would come when I've already premeditated or predetermined what I wanted. Like I just want to come and see what's up. And most of the times, actually, even when I go to the studio, I'm not like intentionally here to make music.
Yeah.
I'm just here, just to hang around. And if the vibe, comes through, then we can make something amazing. And that is how I've made most of my music. Like for as long as the track is amazing, and actually I'm a person who is very, very strong when it comes to melodies. Sometimes I just start with melodies, singing different melodies and then putting them on the track without words. Because for me, I know like there are songs that I've created that just sound perfect with just the melodies. So imagine if I put the words. So for me, if a track sounds perfect with just the melodies, without lyrics, just the melodies, then I know by the time I put in the lyrics, it's just gonna be like a walkover. So
you'd be humming to the music too.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to me.
I'm even crazy. Like I can even back a melody just to see how it's gonna sound when I've fully done it. Like I'm just like that. So that is how I come up with most of my music. And of course, some of the songs, you can.
And the writing process, do you like sit down and have these lyrics, or is it also a studio session? You're like, okay, does it just come?
Okay, I'm not a person that writes down lyrics.
Yeah.
I like to keep the melody the way I've sung it on my phone. So most of the times that I can record it and then keep it somewhere. And when I want to use it, I go and revisit it.
Yeah.
For some songs, of course, like, okay, this is what happens. Sometimes a producer can make such an amazing track, and then they send it to you, and they're like, okay, let's see what you can create. So there's songs like Bam to Tedda, like I thought, like before I even went to the studio, like I remember we were in Pakwachi, that edition of Roast and Rhyme, and then I was just listening to this beat, and then I was like, the way you see me doing that,
nothing in like,
and then like and sometimes I can even sing like a melody, and I go to just a random person. I'm like, what do you hear when you listen to that? And for some reason, people are like, it's like I hear you singing something like this. Is it what you're singing? And that is how I get like some of my lyrics. Like, okay, you gave me the first word. If that's what you hear, then that is a word that is perfect to fit in that melody. So I came back when I had like that line. She taking my man, cause she got a good body. She taking my man, she got the booty of a fatty Bombay. And then I wrote the verses. I think I wrote the second verse in studio, but I had like the chorus and the first verse with me before we hit the studio with Nsyere. And that is how we created that song
but it's not like it's breeding from like a personal experience. You're there and some fat chick takes your woman.
No, you just okay for that.
Yeah.
Of course, there was a lot of chaos that happened that side, like a lot of married men.
Oh yeah,
had no, had a lot of drama happening around them. So
we have seen threads on Twitter on married men. We know their drama.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna create something about this. And of course, some songs like you can be inspired by a certain event or something that has happened. Some songs they just happen naturally, like you can't have a definition to creativity. Like it is so dynamic. Like you can get an idea from anywhere, and like from the least expected spaces. Like that is why I always tell people that write music, like don't box yourself. Like I even got a chance and like worked with a few of like our male artists, and they're like Nzenkuba ngoma, like you are like deliberately boxing yourself that this is the only thing that you do. That you do. But be open-minded. You never know. Like you can sit on a dancehall track, you can sit on a reggae track, and it becomes a big one. This guy sang Ompalula, yeah. That that is one of the big, I don't know, was that hip hop, R&B, whatever they created with Michael Fingers.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest tracks. But if that man was like music, but dance Olieka, I don't think he would have created such an amazing song. So be always open to new things, to, to diving into different spheres of, creativity and, ideas. Don't box yourself. So that is why for me, I never tell people that I'm an Afrobeats artist. Like, I'm just an artist. Whatever the energy takes me is where I'm gonna go. So
actually,
like that.
one of my questions is that, but before I go into that, it looks like you have never been an upcoming artist. So your transition seems you came and
Really?
solidified your position in the market.
I think there has to be like
there was never a time where we're like, hey, I know that is an upcoming artist. You came and that is it. You started, you gave us, even radio, the greatest, the legend, had a phase where he was upcoming. But for you, you've come.
I think
you positioned yourself in the market, and that was it. We appreciated, the market appreciated, the music is nice, we like it, and look at you, the biggest.
I think maybe there should be like categories within upcoming artists.
Yeah.
Like there's one who takes time like to blow up, and there's one who blows right there on spot. Yes.
Because for you were writing, right? You are taking music to sell it to people. Then you became an artist because they opened your eyes to the fact that maybe the support could come in and you could sing. And then you sang, and that was it.
I think that entire period of the EP Law Feet, I was an upcoming artist. What solidified my position was the album. That is when everyone knew that, she didn't come to mess around. She means business. She's here to stay. And with the way she's positioned, she might be one of the greatest artists Ugandans have ever had. And I'm thankful people, see me in that kind of caliber.
Yeah.
I'm thankful, and I'm working towards that, maintaining, that class and, that energy. So, but yeah, and to be honest, the people would take long to blow up, but when they blow up, they live like forevermore. So I've been an upcoming artist, but I've been an upcoming artist with like hit songs. That's what you should say.
All right. So I want you to discuss your experience as a female artist and say challenges you are facing so far. Seeing as you're breaking barriers and representing Uganda. Really.
Challenges. I've been blessed enough. Like I've not struggled so much in this industry.
Definitely.
Yeah, I thank God for that. I thank Him for that blessing and that favor. I'm so thankful. But of course, this industry comes with its problems. Sometimes it can be the pressure with the words that come that be coming from different people. Like people can say things that they have no idea about. And this.
How do you consume that? How do you react to that? Like personally, do you sit down in your bed and cry? Does it affect you? Does it affect creative process?
Of course, some of the words can like get to you, like and they can actually make you react to stuff like that. But what keeps my head high? Omanyi Bobby yaina kaimba ke yaimba. Yagamba. Ate wewe nyasingira ddala okuba obubi
yasinga n'okujerega. So
like when that kicks in, I'm like,
they're just projecting.
Yeah, this nigga has nothing on me. I'm actually doing so much better than them, and they have no choice. They just have to hate and say whatever they want to say. But for me, I don't think people have hated me. Like, I think people have loved me, and I appreciate Ugandans for that. I've never been like, of course, I've been trolled with the way I dress, my style, but with time, they've got like to understand that they're actually females that dress like this, and it doesn't take away that the fact that they are feminine and they appreciate being a woman. It's just like this is their style and this is who they dress. And we shouldn't actually use the way they dress as a way of as an identity of their sexuality. This is just them being who they are, and we should learn to accept that. And I feel like the way the internet and social media has become more popular now, people are very, very much aware of things, and it's opening up their minds. So then they are no longer, of course there are few who are like judgmental, and it's okay. People always, this is what comes with being a star. Like, people are going to talk about you. Good things and bad things.
Yeah, you're
That
just
is-
ready for it.
Yeah, there's no way you can escape that. Like it's the game. That's how it
The
goes.
thing is, you kill everything else and just keep moving, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
you've now like identified some sort of purpose, your sense of direction, and that's enough, right?
Yeah,
Everything else just noise and background.
Yeah.
noise. So also, there's like a unique blend with your music, right? There's the blend of Afrobeats, then the soul and R&B. How do you do this? What's the magic? How is this magic? Share an experience on that.
I think to actually be a very good artist and a writer, the taste of your music also plays a part. The kind of music that you enjoy as an artist, the music that you love. And if you're lucky enough that your choice is the choice of the majority, that is how you get to make music that the majority of the world will appreciate. So my music is more like my taste in the music that I listen to. Yes, I like dancehall, but then I also like a little bit of R&B. So I like it has to be a mixture. Like when you want to like they'll never feel left out. Like you have everyone catered for in just one record. And the artist is the fact that I release a body of work. You know, for me, I always say an album gubera nga mutego. Oberako there are 16 songs. Je mitego 16. Bwe mba sikufunye ku mutego ogusooka.
Ojja kunfuna.
Mugwe 10. Oba ku gwe 10. So like, and it's also another way of making more money out of, you know, your music. Because what's the essence of you having like a bank of records, but then you're not making money out of the come. What you do, yes, they're gonna be like 15 tracks or 14 tracks, and you're gonna shoot for like 2 or 3. But the rest, there are fans who will take that music and they will listen to it, and you will get money out of that. That is why I'm one of the artists that makes the most, female artists that makes the most the biggest amount of money when it comes to what streams. Because in 3 years I have 43 songs. You understand? So sola kwongerageranya na muntu omu aina nyimba 15 oba nyimba 2 mu myaka 2. Because for me, what
in 3 years you have 43 songs?
Yes. And the constant rule here, make sure that every song is good. Don't concentrate about having every song a hit song.
Yeah.
Just make sure that every record is a nice song, is good music. For the hit song, chija kuja, but first make sure that the music's all sounding good. Take it. And that is how you are gonna get like more credibility, because other people will aja kugamba ze hantwakala nnyo Quinamino, but for me, zeneyagalira nnyo Craving You Heavy. I like Craving, and there are fans that I've been trolled. So many fans have come for my hair because I never shot Tuatisa, because I never shot Envision, because I never shot Craving You Heavy, because I never shot Kujito. These are not hit songs, but this is good music. And how am I benefiting from it? People stream that music. I know people who are always on trips. Me, I just play Azawi's music, and it will take me for me, I can run a DJ set of my music for 2 hours.
And we're still vibing.
Yes. And everyone is like, there's
a blend.
Yeah. Nina Jenalikeyo, you know, I'm a Manchester United fan. And Bali Watukuba. Watukuba left and right. But the DJ was playing my music. Ngero laba fan. Ngabatu tompira good for them ngali what. You understand? And for me, that's proof enough that, you know what?
You're moving.
Yeah, moving and making albums is very, very, very what? Important. Era bwoba ngoli muyimbi, ngoli bwakabi, nga tonna bakolako album. Like, you're playing, man. Like, you're playing. Tulekera okwekwasa sina promo, sina chi. Just put the music in Katari. You never know what's gonna happen.
I hear you.
Because what amutadde mu katale, now I'm Sigazda. Who's making the better choice?
Because also with how our industry is built, it's almost that you have to put the music out there to create the market for you.
Yes.
As the artist, right?
Yeah.
If the other performance maybe will come in,
Yeah.
someone will take interest. I totally agree.
Yeah, exactly. So it's also like your credibility as a brand strengthens. Like kati nze tewali muntu asobola kunyooma mu bayimbi era gamba kakawala naye bwe balaba nga nsirise not releasing music, they know anytime I can do it. So that is what you need. And those are the things that endorsements, festivals, people that want you on festival, those are the things that they will consider. That is how you get on such lineups. That is why every time I link up with Joshua Barak, I'm like, bro, you're a very fast creator. You can create like 3 songs in a day. So for me, the only thing that I'm waiting from you
is the music.
Is an album. Just put stop. Don't listen to the background noise, because everyone is going to tell you what to do. They're going to act like they know they know the industry, and they will advise you. But you are the creator. Like you are the only person who understands your creativity and your art. So just make the music and let it be within your fans.
Now, what are your thoughts on the evolution of Ugandan music really as a whole, and how do you see its future? Gwe omanyi waliwo conversation bingi, we need to have a sound, we should sound maybe being the South African guys that brought up the amapiano, the Nigerians have a unique sound. All that, really, for you, what are your thoughts on Ugandan music as a whole? Of course, we've also had the Chameleons come out to say, brilliant, extremely brilliant artists, but of course, Chameleons' excuse, I think he says, the time they started out, management was not really that good, so they had to struggle with that, and you can really see it, right?
Understand that.
It makes sense. They're just trying to catch up. They have been as big as they could because the talent is there. No one is saying otherwise. So, to you, what are your thoughts, really, on the evolution of music in Uganda as a whole?
I think we are still taking baby steps. We would have been moving very faster than we are right now, but most of us, or most of the people in the industry, we are afraid of taking risks.
Yeah,
we are afraid of doing what we're not used to, and also the dreams. Most of the people in our industry, their dreams are not big. If 90% of us were big dreamers, it could reflect. You could see it with the movement, the way music is promoted, the kind of videos we're shooting, the music we are releasing out, the aggressiveness, the way we come for everything. But most of us are playing it safe.
Yeah.
I'm this one person who's gonna be like Pampa de million chikomi. Nenze solo gama sija ziteka ku nyumba eyo katusteke nchi
no music.
I'm that person, but I don't know if I think the only guy who can do that would have been Bebe Cool, but then Bebe Cool akuze kati naye musajja watu, he's just working on maintaining the brand, not fetching for so much, because yalaba akati akoze chi his time is almost he has done whatever he could, so I feel like the young generation, more so abantu abalinganze, or people who have been in the industry for not more than 10 years, I think it's time we start dreaming big. We start dreaming big. Ebiroto byaffe bigeje. Like, you can learn on an artist nga kugamba nze bwe nakuba Freedom City
chimala
nga kiba chimala sijja kusaba oba okigadde, but then ojja kusanga abayimbi outside Uganda nga yagamba nze njagala nkube arena, nkube O2, okitegeera. What do I need to do? Music, tutandika ofata music. Let's make that music that makes us achieve, get there. So I know we need money, but omanyi, I'm a person who's deep when it comes to the law of attraction. When you set your dreams very clear and your desires, you make them straight and clean. This is what you want.
Yeah.
For some reason,
you achieve it.
This universe will listen to you.
I hear you. The tongue is very, very
jagama, okay, kana kaagala ku biri ebimalayo. You will find yourself thinking about things that are going to get you. Now, that same energy is going to attract events, circumstances, and people that are going to make you achieve that. Don't worry about how this is going to happen. Just think of the result. The result is just enough to fuel you, to inspire you to go for it. Nekati abantu abamu bw'omugamba nti katulina angatandika kati sene zigenda okukola video. Ebyo tobyeraliikirira. Totandika bigena kumazima amaanyi. Kwe just kubaamu akafaananyi nga tune yo eri wali ku New York Times Square bagisawo like nga ka ad, ka promo. Imagine that. Kati nze kankuleko, what's crazy? I wanted to be a big star, like a big global star. It's what I wanted. Ninga simanyi how I'm going to achieve it. And I'm going to know such a whiskey and I was on a Cuba shows and I'm like, bro, one time. But I never knew how. Nga sina ya day. Nesendeza studio. I'm not even sure ndibera ko ne superstar. But I just kept on dreaming like that. I'm not even worrying how it's going to happen.
So you're naturally an optimistic person.
Yeah. Like there is so much power in being positive.
I hear you.
So much power.
Positivity.
Call it a bad energy.
Yeah.
And I've preached this energy in my music, my J, and even more music that is to come.
Mm-hmm.
So like, because I want us to tap into that positive energy. So many people are winning because of it.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't we win as well?
So, have you made up your mind teaching it into Uganda chikola for life? Like someone like Bebe Cool, I feel like they made up their mind. The music is my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you that type of person, or you feel like, okay, I will maybe jump out when Kula, I can jump out and go into like management, start my own labels, see, because now of course, you're getting all these experiences and all this information and all this data of how the industry works. So you could pause and then get ahead of it, right? Label, then maybe let me guide, it could be girls or whoever, really. It doesn't have to be, since you come from a really humble background, you'd say, let me do this and see who else can I pick, you could not become the biggest star you want to become, but then you could help create the biggest star. Yeah, there's also that.
Katino, for me, music is very infectious.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you get into it, it's very hard to stay away from it. For me, I know, there could be times I could no longer step on stage, Azawi work at that, but I know somehow, somewhere, I'm going to be connected with music. Somehow, somewhere. Like, it's not something that I'm going to leave entirely. No. I'll be, kutambuza, or maybe lobbying for something outside Uganda that can come and change our industry. Like, I want to be part of music in any way. Maybe sitting on stage, but I want and it's gonna be very hard because even the friends that I've made, like Katiabambalinga, my mentor, Julius, the Benon, you understand? Actually, you just even look at Benon.
Yeah.
They signed me, and it's like, man, you've just woken up another spirit in me. And then he's like, do you know?
That's crazy.
Yeah, do you know what that means? He is one of the finest artists,
I agree.
Legends we have in Uganda.
Very intentional what he's bringing out. Minus the production, just the music, how intentional he was. So when you say that you ignited that again in him.
He has made classics. He has produced classics. Mr. DJ, you understand? Where You Are. It's better. Yeah, so he's like music to soul and Western. Either you're not a planning go. If you see your kid so passionate about it, that's it. There's no way you're gonna take that love away from them. Either the one is doing lawyer. Yeah. That's why you see some lawyers. Lawyer are very, very prominent. But somewhere supporting. So that is how passion for music is just so infectious. You can't take it away.
Now, I've seen you notably collaborate with people, yeah? Superstars like Thick, but now to even a global big stage. I have seen you have so much excitement around Cautions.
Yeah.
But now also the music, the song is amazing. He's on Sankofa. How is this coming about to you? How are you selecting the collaborations? But also, what do they mean to you? Do you just want to do you specifically peak point that person has been singing to me my life, so I would want music with them? Or is it about exploring new markets so you can get into their markets? Yeah, just take me through your... And I also manage a few artists, right? I'm trying to manage Isabel UG. I'm trying to manage Dollar Gang. So what does it take to really do the collabos with you? Because
for me, like, first I have to be your fan. That's what makes the collaboration more real and full of chemistry. I have to be your fan. All the people that I've collaborated with, like I appreciate them as artists. There's something special about them. Like the siriko video not yangwa inechitambula. Otherwise, nandibadde nakola dda n'abayimbi bangi nnyo. Like maybe Tomanya, I would have had a record with Alien Skin or stuff like that, or Shtegida. And yes, I'm a big fan of his music.
Yeah.
But then it has to be, even now I'm on to energy, or like when we are in the same space, like it has to be giving, good vibes, good energy. And that is how I've got to work with people like, Conscience. For Conscience, it's actually very, very so special.
Yeah.
Because
it looks like
it's very, very special. Yeah. For him, imagine I was in band and the only covers that I used to do were dancehall and reggae covers. So that means I used to do a lot of Conscience, Busy Signal, Jacure, Elaine, Etana, like covers. Yeah. So and on top of that, I was a big fan. I remember the last dancehall show, or like dancehall artist show that I was on, Yaria Busy Signal. That time he has, watch out for this, baby, watch out for this. Yeah, that like it's my portion. Like those are my vibes. So now we are making Sankofa, and it's more about going back into my past.
What does Sankofa mean, by the way?
Okay, yeah. Sankofa is a concept that comes from Ghana. It's a language spoken by Akan people. It means go back and get it. Like go back into your past, and you know what? Get it. So, okay, the entire ideology about this entire thing is to appreciate your past more, like to own it. Because most of the times we disown it, not embrace it, try to run away from it. Yeah. But your past will always be part of you, no matter what you do. The best thing you can do is learn from it, be a better person, because learn better because of it, so that you are able to be present in your future. Like it's more like using your past to learn from the mistakes and be present and be able to be a better human in your future. So for me, going back into my past was more like revisiting the things that I used to like, telling the stories of my life in the past, money, alcohol, everything that happened. So I used to be a big fan of reggae music and dancehall, and Conscience specifically was my favorite. And now I'm making this album, and it's more like, going back into the past. So this is where the entire energy idea came in. Like, let me go back and see if I can get that guy. And for some reason, the universe had already aligned. Remember, even the first performance that I made, I did a freestyle of that guy. Yeah. And it went viral. Yeah. And it reached to us. And that is how, and when I actually even went to Kenya with the interview that I did, I did the same thing. And that clip went viral. And when I went back for like a media tour, like I linked up with a guy called G-Man. He works at Homeboys. Yeah. It was like, we were talking about you with Conscience. In my DM, he was asking me who you are. And I told him. And that is all happening. I'm also in Conscience's DM. Yeah. So it made the entire conversation very easy because I had already laid a foundation. He knew that I was fun. Without even forcing it, you understand? So that is why he gave me the opportunity. And big up on yourself, Conscience, wherever you are right now. by the way, we're supposed to shoot
The video.
the video. Please, please come through and we do it. And I know it's gonna come through. So yeah, so it just made sense. And songs like because the album Sankofa has over like 16 tracks.
Yeah.
And there's so many music on there. And there's also Champion from Africa. It's more like, because when you're a star or when you're a creative, there's a point where you feel like you're not motivated anymore. You're not inspired. Like you feel like you've exhausted your mind. Like you want something new, like, you know, that can inspire you.
Sankofa really gives you that, right?
Yeah.
Also, it feels like every tune has a different touch, right? You want to listen to it and be like, okay,
Oh, what is it? Yeah.
it's like you want to be in that blend the whole time. And like, I also like the production. It's
Yeah.
crisp.
Yeah. And we were so, you know, Sankofa we were so deliberate about it.
Very
We didn't
intentional.
want it to be anything like African music. African music was its own body of work, and there's nothing that is going to ever be
That
like.
power of you managing to recreate yourself to give us something new out of you is magical. I appreciate that.
That is the risk that I'm telling. Who's willing to make that risk? Who's willing?
Again, na chiriko,
Yeah.
but you are willing to just
Say
find yourself again and just give us the new you, and we can appreciate that.
Yes. So that is the entire sound that you see on it is completely different sound. And when you're actually outside Kampala or Uganda, everyone that knows about me is like, this is a bigger presentation. This is a much bigger presentation for the global space, for the global stage. For Sankofa, yes, it had more of a local crowd appeal. But for Sankofa, because it's what we're trying to do, we're trying to go global. We're trying to see, yes, we might never blow up or stuff like that, but then it can also happen. So at least let's try and see where it takes us. Maybe another person who's going to try to do it will have like a starting point as well. And let me tell you, all great artists have a thing in common. They all evolve. When you listen to Wizkid,
Totally agree.
when you listen to Wizkid, the Wizkid with the first record was Holla at Your Boy, and the Wizkid of right now,
It's different.
you see like there's been like an evolution.
Yeah.
For Burna Boy, you remember we knew him as a dancehall artist.
Sure.
But listen to the Burna Boy right
I hear you so much. I'm a big fan of hip hop music. One of my big rappers, I think, just released an album, Andre 3000. He released an album, but he's not rapping. He's just doing a flute, a whole 16 thing. So I watched an interview of him and he's saying, to me, it's really the power of seeing myself become a baby, watch myself redevelop into something new all the time. And you really see that he has been that person from the 90s to the rapping. He's never been just wanting to go with, hey, people are about this. No, he's always just focused. He has some sense of direction, and I see this in you, and it's really magical.
So like I'm also like I like I would be so scared if I woke up one morning and like, oh, this is it, and everyone is like, that is the Azawi that we know. Like I always want to make people look forward
to what's coming.
from me. So that is the special thing about being an artist that evolves. Don't stick to the stereotype or to the template. Run away from it. Experience things, adventure, like, you know. So it's what we have been doing on this album. And for me, I believe if we do everything right with my team, I think this album is going to take us to the next level, because I feel like I know we have music on that body of work that can actually make like a huge impact. To my career, to everyone who's working on Team Azawi. So like, I can't wait. Like for now, we are still like seeing things how they're, turning out. But I know like, the next year, we're going to go all in, because this year is almost done. You understand?
Is white your best color?
No, I like black. It's crazy.
I'm just relating the car, the clothes.
Yes, I am like, I can never go to the.
I say black because you signed to Guinness.
No, not really.
Yeah, no, it was natural. I know.
And I don't even like intend it. I just find myself so much, into black stuff, black clothing, and Yeah.
What are your aspirations? I want to conclude, not to steal it. It's about time for you to leave, like I said. So what are your aspirations for the future? What projects are you working on? What should we expect? Or right now, Sankofa is like focus,
Yeah.
and we should just expect more of it.
Yeah, right now it is Sankofa focus.
Okay.
Making this album big, going all in and doing whatever we have to do to make sure that the music is everywhere and in people's faces. Yes, of course, you know me, as by the time I'll be done with Sankofa, of course you will already know what I'm coming up with next. Yeah.
So I'm trying to call one of my biggest fans. They told me I should call them. Hi Priscilla. So I have Azawi on the podcast. I'm going to let you say hi, but we're still on the podcast.
Oh, she's also called Priscilla. I'm also Priscilla. Hi, Priscilla, nice meeting you. You're good? I love you too. Thank you for supporting and loving Azawi. Thank you. Hey, how are you? Nice, so nice meeting you. Thank you.
Cheers too.
I try. Yeah. Goodbye.
All right, Priscilla, I'll give you the episode.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of legacy, this is usually the last question. What's that legacy you want to leave behind? This is in terms of you being an artist and you being Zawedde, Priscilla, just the human being.
Like, honestly, that's a very hard question because it's more like you are, because the world already knows my journey, how it's gonna turn out.
Yeah.
You know, the universe knows. But for me, I just want to be an artist that is gonna like have an impact. You get an artist think in terms of how the rest of the world perceives them. Like, I want us to change a lot of stereotypes. Like, I want them to know that we can do anything. Like, there's no what should I even call it? Oh my God, my English is running. Tewali, there's no definition of oh my God, it's failing. But what I'm trying to say is, like, we can do so many things and there's nothing that
can stop us.
Yeah, tewali chisobola to stopping us. So like I want people to understand that, we've been in this industry and people have been used to things running a certain way. You have to look.
There's like a line, right?
Yeah, like you have to look a certain way. You have to do things in a certain way. You have to appear a certain way. But I want to be the first artist to actually inspire so many others who are, still down there doing their things, with the dream of being big stars, that you can be a big star in your own self.
Yeah.
You don't have to do what the rest of the world wants you to do or what the world is used to, like you can be confident in your skin, in your style, in the way you dress, and make people, love you, fall in love with you, make the music, make music that is amazing and everyone can appreciate that. They won't even care about how you pull up on stage. You can just pull up in just, sandals and maybe a cape and make me look like you're homeless, but everyone is making noise because they know that you're a good star. So I want us to take that, and I want us to actually even appreciate, I want us to have more artists that appreciate more of our culture, where you come from, like our style, our dresses, the African prints, the kimono. Yes, you can wear a Nike and a suit and stuff like that. But then what happens if you come and pull up in a kanzu? Like I think it's a flavor that we also have to incorporate in our, music. Like that is how people from outside are going to actually see us, because we're giving something they don't have. You understand? So yeah, I don't know, for the legacy, I'm going to leave that to the crowd. I'm just going to keep on doing music. Yeah. Ebisigedde tujja birekera Katonda n'abantu.
Major shouts out to whoever is going to listen to this.
Yeah.
But like your people say Swangs, Jailer, anything you want to tell them?
Yeah, of course. I send big shout outs to my team, Swang Avenue, my management, Julius, Benon, Jayla, Wheezy, Peterson, everyone. Everyone makes sure that I look nice. Everyone on Team Azawi, Joel, my sisters, Nwaji, Vinka, Zafaran, and my brother, my mad brother, Elijah Chitaka. I love you so much, guys. Thank you for loving me and supporting me. And of course, my fans, you are the best. You're the best. There's no way I would have done this whole thing without you guys. Thank you for having my back and supporting. Yes, Sankofa album is out. Sankofa album is out and it's on all streaming platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Boomplay, Audio Mac, wherever. Tell me, you name it. It's everywhere. Please go and stream the music. Go and, do the challenges, put the music in your content. Yes, we're shooting the videos. I'm telling you, we have so much in stock. If you want to follow me, yes, on my social media platforms, on X handle, it's Azawi Official, Instagram Azawi Official, Facebook Azawi Official, YouTube, it's Azawi. Yes, I'm everywhere. See you. Stay safe. I love you. Akume.
Azawi, thank you so much, by the way, for coming to the pod. I know I'll have you back. Big things. Yeah.
Sure.
This has been lovely and amazing.